Hello everyone, in this tutorial we will see how can we perform a partial update or a patch update in order to update a specific field in an object without the need of sending all the fields of that object into our API. So in the previous tutorial, in the override of the put and update method, which I highly recommend that guys, if you didn't watch it yet, go and watch it. We managed to override the put and update methods, and we successfully updated an object in the database, which is the cars object and the car specs object, using a put request. The problem that we faced is we had to send the whole object or all the fields into our API in order to update one or two fields of that object. And this is what we're gonna solve today by overriding the batch method inside an API view and the partial update method inside a ModelViewSet. So let's start with the API view, and for that we're going to use the cars app, and inside the views.py under the put method we need to define a patch method, and this will take the same arguments as before. So I'm just gonna copy paste them, and inside here, first thing first, we need to get the object that we need to update. So I'm going to name it car object as well, and it's equal to cars dot objects dot get, and that will give me the object that I need to update. After that, we need to extract the data from the request by simply saying data equals request dot data, and after that we need to check the fields that we receive one by one. So previously, as you see here, we used to, I'm going to copy that for now. We used to say that if I need to update the car brand, I'll just say car object dot car brand, and then I'll take the value of the car brand from the extracted data. But the problem is, if I don't, or if we don't send the car brand fields, this will throw an error saying that we have a key error, that it didn't find the car brand within the data that this method received. In order to solve that, we need to add, after the data, we need to add a function which is .get. And what this will do is we'll check if the data that I received has a car brand key value, then it will update the existing value of the object. If not, it will return the existing value of the old value of that field. And we'll do the same for the rest of the fields. So I'm going to copy this and just paste it and update the values. So for the car model, it's exactly the same. So it'll take the data, and this get will check if we have a car model key value pair in our data, or in the data that we received from the front end, for example, or the request. If it's there, it will update the existing value. If not, it will just return the old value. And same thing go for the rest of the fields. I'm just gonna update them quickly here and copy the car body as well and update or change the values for the whole fields. So after that, we simply need to save the object. So I'll say car object.save, and then we'll serialize the object data by saying serializer equal cars serializer, and then we pass the object, the car object, and then we return a response with the serialized data. So let's save that and then run the server, make sure the virtual environment is activated, and then we say python manage.py run server, and after that we will open the postman and perform a patch request. So let's do that. So inside here I have the URL for the cars. So let's perform a GET request and see what objects we have in our database. And as you see here, we have one object. I want to update this object. So let's request the object by its ID. And I want to, let's choose one field to update. So let's say I want to update the engine type, for example. So let me add it here to the request data, and I want to change this to, for example, diesel. And then I'll change this request type into patch. And after that, we perform the request. So if I hit send here, I'll see that I received an object back with this, with the updated value here. So what if I want to update two values? For example, let's say the production year and the engine type. So I'll change this to 2019, for example, and I'll change this back to fuel. And then if I hit the send here to perform a patch request, I can see that the two values have been updated. And we couldn't do that just by overriding the update method or the put method, because we would or the method would throw an key error because the rest of the fields are not included. But now that we managed to override the patch method, we have more control on how we update our objects. And this was for the API view. I want to do the same for the view sets or model view sets. So let's go back to the code, and that for that I want to choose another app, which is the first app. And if we go to views.py, as you see here, we have the update method here, which we wrote in the previous tutorial. And under the update method, I want to define a new method, partial update. And as you see here, for the model view set, it's a partial update method that we are overriding, but for the API view, it's a batch method, so the name is different. You can't use the same name. So let's add the arguments here, or the parameters, I mean. And we'll go through the same steps. So first thing first, we'll get the object. I'll name it car object equals self dot get object, and that's enough to get the object. And then we extract the data from the request dot data, and then after that we need to handle the fields update. So because it's the same technique for both the patch method and the partial update method, I'm just gonna copy the fields from here just to be more efficient and save time, and paste them inside our partial update method. And one thing we need to add here is handling the nested data, because inside the car specs model, we have, if we check here, inside the car specs model, we have a nested or a relationship, which is the car plan. So in order to handle that, we need to wrap that in a try except. So I'm going to just say try, and inside try, I'm going to check if, or I'm going to get the car plan object. So I'm going to copy it from here. So what this basically do is gets the object from the car plan model by its name, or by the plan name. So the reason why I put it inside a try, because I want to handle the case where if the plan name wasn't sent within the object fields that need to be updated. So if it was there, or if the method, the partial update method, receives a plan name, then I'm gonna get the plan or the car plan object, and then I'm gonna update that value inside the car specs or the car object. So I'm gonna say car object dot car plan equals car plan. And if the API didn't receive a plan name to update, then it will throw an error saying that it's a key error because it didn't find it. And I'm going to handle that by saying except key error, and then I'm just going to say pass, and that means do nothing. So I'm not going to do anything, or I'm not going to update the car plan if I don't receive a plan name within the request. So after that, we need to save the car object, save, and then we serialize the object data using the car spec serializer, and we pass the object, and then after that we return a response with the updated, or with the serialized and updated data. So that should do it. Let's save it, and let's wait for the server to rerun. And then now we go to Postman, and let's go or check what objects do I have inside the car specs. So if I go first app, car specs, and then perform a GET request, I'll see that I have 3 objects here. So I'm gonna pick up one, which is the first one by its ID, and I want to update this object, or update some fields inside this object. So let's say I want to change also the production year, so I'm going to keep it the same, and I'm going to change the car plan by passing the plan name. So here it's the second plan, so I'm going to change it to first plan. So I'm going to change this to first plan, and let's change this to patch, and don't forget to add / at the end, otherwise you will get an error. And now we can perform the request and see if it gets updated. And as you see here, I got the updated object with the first plan and the updated year. So I can change this as well. Maybe I want to change the engine type, for example. Okay. To, let's say it's diesel. Then add a comment here, and then perform another request, and as you see, it got updated. So we managed to update specific fields by only sending the values or the key value pairs of these fields, and that's very important. So that's it guys for this tutorial. I hope it was useful. Please give it a thumbs up if you learned something new, and if you have any question, please leave them in the comment below, and make sure you subscribe if you're looking forward for more content like this. And until the next one.